Hi everyone, my name is Jen Jones. I'm the VP of Career Development. Thank you for joining us today. Today I have with me and co-hosting Jen Ravagum. She is our Executive Vice President for Lancaster, Reading Berks, and Schuylkill Haven.
And Lebanon.
And Lebanon. Thanks, Jen.
Sure.
We are going to talk today about how you can, continue to stay positive, stay connected to your clients, continue to work through your real estate transaction, and just stay focused through everything that's going on and continue to adapt. So if you're logging in via Zoom, you can feel free to use either the question and answer box or the chat box to add to the content, ask questions, share ideas, share some things that you've tried, or if you're tuning in to us live via our Facebook event, you can feel free to use the comments, and we will be checking those regularly throughout the session today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So how to stay connected while working remotely, it kind of always goes back to starting with prospecting. So looking at the agenda today, we are going to talk about prospecting. We're going to dive into how you can be doing your listing appointments, virtual showings, virtual open houses, buyer consultations, settlements. We're going to kind of go start to finish through interacting with your clients and doing a real estate transaction remotely. And then we're going to dive into which video tools, apps, and platforms you can use to accomplish those different activities and tasks that we're going to talk about. So we're going to do activities first and then dive into a lot of different video tools that we've been using, that our agents have been using and have been finding very successful. Virtual open houses, buyer consultations, settlements. We're going to kind of go start to finish interacting with your clients. So starting with prospecting, using Facebook to find birthdays, leverage social media. We talk a lot about using social media, locating content. So using that to find out when your clients' birthdays are, when those special moments are, kind of taking the online offline. So now's a good time to catch up on some of those things that maybe you've been putting off or haven't had the extra time to work through. One of those things being birthday cards. So you can get on Facebook now, go to Facebook events, birthdays, look up all of your Facebook friends, look up their birthdays, or pull it up in your CRM, handwrite all of those cards for 2020 so you can just drop them in the mail at the right time. You could do that for happy home anniversaries. You could also leverage video. I mean, a lot of our agents, I feel like, are really missing that face-to-face, that client interaction in person, and I've been using video to accomplish that. They have got clients who are either at home by themselves or are just major extroverts and not used to also not having that interaction at work, or if they're a teacher at school. So having that video interaction is the next best way to really stay connected. So happy home anniversary videos, sending a little video, just checking in to make sure that they're doing okay, talking about the fact that it's been a year since they moved into their new home, and then scheduling a time to connect. We've had a lot of our agents scheduling either lunch meetings with their clients or coffee dates with their clients and doing it via video so that you're still getting that face-to-face interaction. You still have the opportunity to genuinely check in, make sure they're doing okay. We've had a lot of agents reaching out to elderly neighbors to see if they need some help with getting groceries, checking in with local families who, they're used to their kids being in school. They might need some help with lunches. They might need some, entertainment for their kids with crafts. There's lots of great ways to really genuinely reach out to your sphere of influence, check in, make sure they're doing okay, ask how they're doing, kind of be someone that they can interact with when they're not necessarily getting that now, and just to really make sure that they have what they need and focusing on the relationship. So now's definitely not the time to pick up the phone and, hey, just wanted to check in. Do you know anybody that needs a realtor right now? Are you thinking of buying or selling? Now's the time to show up. Now's the time to genuinely reach out as a friend, as somebody in their neighborhood, somebody in the community. And when the floodgates open back up, we truly believe by being that person that you're the one that they're going to call. So taking that genuine approach and reaching out to help is definitely the way to go right now. Social media content to post. We've been, for our home sale agents, providing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday a list of action items and activities to, keep them focused on prospecting, give them ideas of what to share on social media, make sure that they're still working on building their database. And we've mixed some of these in and wanted to share these as well. So you could do a Facebook Live video, a Videolicious video, just sharing how COVID-19 is affecting the real estate market, sharing, what the inventory looks like right now, and do a couple different ones. Do one as if you're talking to a buyer, a seller, or an investor. It kind of depends on what their real estate goals are, but connecting via video and using that on social media is a great alternative. Reassure your clients and customers that you're still serving them, you're still working remotely. We've seen some agents do really great videos on, here's what I can do, here's how I'm going to continue to help you get closer to your goal, here's how I am working from my home, here's the activities I am still able to do for you. I know we've seen a lot of those videos lately, and they've been really welcomed and really well received by clients. We've been trying to focus on our local businesses. A lot of our agents have actually taken the time to sit down, put a list together of local businesses, local restaurants, local pubs that are still open for either takeout or delivery, and every so often posting those on their social media, whether they've personally gotten the takeout or had the delivery, posting a picture of that and just thanking the local businesses. Tag the local business in your post or in your Instagram post, tag their handle for Instagram, and then it gets you connected to more people that you had the opportunity to get in front of. So if I order from a local restaurant here in Mount Joy and I tag them in it, now everybody that follows their page is going to see my post as well. So it's a great way to tag other businesses, comment on their content, and get in front of more people that are following their pages versus just your own. Promote your listings, partner with your in-house core service providers. We've had a lot of agents also partnering up with our home sale loan officer to talk about, how our interest rates being affected, to talk about setting expectations with their buyers, and just kind of talking about what that process looks like. Jen, anything that, you've seen? We've seen a lot of really awesome things our agents are doing. Anything that you've seen that you want to chime in with or share?
Well, I think that I love the small business one the most because it's a great way to not only connect with people in your own community, but also to grow your database. Because as you connect with those small businesses, they want to help support you too. And so it really creates a really nice network and connection with those people. So I love that one for sure. The other one that I've been seeing a lot is just like those questions of what are you doing while you're at home, and what are some of the home improvements that you're doing, and that type of thing. I think create a lot of dialogue and conversation, and I've seen some pretty entertaining home improvements that have been done too. So I've been enjoying watching that a little bit. So
Yep. And to kind of piggyback off of what Jen said, what I love about that is the interaction, because as you guys know, the more people that comment on it or like it or share it, the more people you're getting connected to and the more people you're reaching. So it's getting you and your brand and your expertise in front of more people than just, the people that like your page or are typically following and interacting with you. So definitely some great ideas that we've been seeing. So listing appointments. We are actually using Zoom to host this session today, and Zoom offers some great things, and we're going to dive into, Zoom Basic versus Zoom Pro a little bit later in the presentation and break down the features and functions of both of those. But Zoom in general, either one of those is a great way to host a listing appointment because it has a screen share capability. So, when you're doing your listing appointment, you're typically reviewing the CMA, reviewing marketing pieces, paperwork, going through a presentation. Zoom gives you the ability to do that because of the screen share feature that we are using right now to display this PowerPoint. So it's a great option for you. You can still continue to do listing appointments doing it remotely, whether you're in Pennsylvania or Maryland. And I know, there are some different restrictions across states, but it's a great option to limit that face-to-face interaction. What we will recommend is setting clear expectations up front. Have some clear, concise conversations to make sure your seller understands what the market's like right now, and then also just the process because of the restrictions that we have. So you're going to have some conversations to determine, are they comfortable, taking photos of the property? Are they comfortable doing a video tour of the property so that you have great photos, videos, visuals to market their property and market their home for them? We recommend, via either one of the video chat options we're talking about or Zoom, going through on a little tour through the property with them. So you can talk about decluttering, you can talk about staging, and you can kind of help them get ready to do both of those things. And you can do it remotely. Talk about how virtual showings will be conducted, how you're going to be doing virtual open houses, and we're going to get into those in a little bit more detail later on. Precautions during appraisals and how settlement can be conducted for them. And then we already kind of talked about walking through, sharing that advice you typically would if you were there in person.
And Jen, one of the things that I saw one of our agents do that I thought was awesome is they actually did a walkthrough in their own house to share with their sellers that said, here's what it should look like when you do your house, so that their sellers kind of had a tutorial on what it is that a buyer might be looking for, and have them walk through and give some really good video tips. So they got to share their house before the seller shared what their house looks like, and they kind of got to interact a little bit on good video tips. So I thought that was a great idea to help the sellers who might be a little nervous on, I don't know what to show, or I don't know how to walk in the house kind of thing.
I love that. That's a great idea. And it really, I've heard concerns from our agents. Well, because I can't get to them and I can't get to the property, how am I being that expert resource? And I think that's a great way to, adapt to the surroundings and still be the one providing the information, providing the expertise, and in that case, definitely setting the example. So I think that's a really awesome example of how you can do that and how you can provide value to your sellers. So once you've listed, get those photos, get those videos from them. This is a question I've been answering multiple times a day for our agents, and it's a great question. What do you do once you get that? So we have a tool that we're going to talk about a little bit more called Videolicious, and I've been, recommending that our agents take either the photos or the one video clip. Sometimes it's a couple different video clips. We've had sellers do a video clip of the outside of the property and then one of the inside of the property, but you really want that as one video file because you want one video to market, to, send to the buyer agent, to give to their buyer. So Videolicious is a great way to do that. Our agents have been using the Videolicious app to insert either photos or video clips, and then you can either do a voiceover with it, so you can narrate and talk through the tour of the property, or you can just put music to it. And it kind of depends how you're using it. And we're going to get into that in a little bit more detail. But Videolicious is a great way to take what you're getting from your seller, compile it into one video, and either add a voiceover where, you're introducing yourself, you're talking about the property, and you're creating a branded one, or just put music behind it, and then that can kind of function as an unbranded one. And that's going to be determined by how you're using it. So to talk about Bright MLS just a little bit here, if it is branded, please make sure that is going in the agent remarks in Bright. And when I say branded, that is agent branding, company branding, yard sign. If that's included in there, it needs to go into the agent remarks. If it's, you introducing yourself as the agent, you narrating, doing a voiceover, you as the agent are in it, so your agent branding, company branding, or a yard sign, just making sure that, I'm sorry, it goes into the agent remarks. Unbranded goes into the public remarks. I said that backwards there. So if it's not branded, it can go into the public remarks in Bright, and If it is branded where you're doing the intro and narrating, you want to make sure that's only going into the agent remarks. The other question I've been getting on that is, what if I'm putting it on YouTube? You know, typically we're getting the link directly. We're getting it from somebody who has a link that we can put right into the MLS, but I'm the one doing it. If you have a YouTube channel, you can upload that to YouTube. Right now, Bright is allowing that. So that's something that they're temporarily allowing you as the agent to do, is to put it on your YouTube channel and use a link to that YouTube video. So that's something that they're doing to, you know, just work with us on the situation that we have right now. For all of our Pennsylvania listings, this is a clause that we have added to Bright, and you know, we would encourage you guys to do the same. So due to Governor Tom Wolf's mandate regarding COVID-19, we are currently unable to allow any in-person showings of our listed properties. Contact your agent for more information. And the goal with that was to set expectations, to just make sure that we're all following the same restrictions that Governor Wolf's putting out there for Pennsylvania, and making sure that we're all on the same page with that. Jen, anything you would add from your perspective there?
Well, so on the mandate, no, but I definitely think that you should set the expectation in some way, shape, or form with the general public and also with your clients. So making sure that everyone understands that we're all kind of in the same boat, and we can't go out and actually physically tour properties, but hey, contact us. We will do what we can to make sure that you get a full understanding of what's out there, because we are still selling a lot of houses in this market. So the ability to relay what that house has and what features it has is so important to buyers right now, especially those that have been trying to get a home for a long time and suddenly see that opportunity to jump on something that's available. So, you know, put the message out there and then make sure that you have some direction for them to come back to you, to contact you, so that you can do an online consultation with them and really talk about all of their options in this market. So I think it's working really well. We're seeing a lot of houses go under agreement, so we'll take it.
Yeah, and I
But
think go ahead.
I also just wanted to share a tip from Melissa McCoy, our Director of Career Development in Berks County. She's saying, don't forget to add some video or some music to your videos, because she said if you actually watch a video and it's just a videotape of the property with no background noise, the silence can be a little bit slow and hold you back. So she's recommending that you use something like Videolicious, where you can put that music behind it. So that's a good tip from Melissa.
Great. And that's what I was going to kind of tag on to the virtual tour video piece of it as well. And my only comment to add to what Jen said is, it's created a lot of collaboration. You know, we've had buyer's agents who have a buyer interested in the property. They're seeing the clause in there. They're knowing the circumstances and reaching out to the listing agent to go, hey, let's talk through options. Let's, you know, brainstorm on how we can get my buyer to see the property and, you know, work through this transaction together. So, you know, on a positive note, we've seen a lot of really great conversations with agents, you know, within our company and among co-brokes working together to get these transactions done and get to the closing table, which has been awesome.
Yeah, and we actually have a team leader, Taj Simmons, who has been saying, you know what, this is going to change the way I do business already. And he has done his pre-approvals with his buyers, with the lender and himself and the buyer, all on a Zoom call meeting. And he's like, I don't even have to bring my buyers to the office in the future. If they choose not to come in, we can get on a Zoom call and get that pre-approval done and make that face-to-face introduction that we haven't always been able to do. And he's really excited about some of the new stuff that brings to his business. So it might be interesting to see what comes out of all of these changes.
That's awesome. It's created a lot of opportunities. So the other idea that we had in here was to kind of, you know, continue to market your listing, share a little teaser video with the content that your seller is able to provide, or you could, you know, also put those photos into Videolicious, and instead of doing a full tour and making that available, do a little 10-second clip and post that. And then again, like we've been saying, you know, collaborate with the other agent on how to get them a really great tour and view of that property. Showing time, this was a piece that we've also added in for our Pennsylvania agents that have tuned in with us today. So also make sure you're going into showing time, into listing setup, and then into the access information section, and just indicating that it and specifying that the way to access the property will be done via a video showing. So just, again, to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that we're setting clear expectations on how showings will be conducted, and that will be done via video and remotely at this point. So virtual showings, this has been, a lot of questions on just how to do virtual showings, how to conduct these. And I know, again, it depends on the state that you're in and the restrictions that you have. I know a lot of our Maryland agents are still able to get into the properties and are getting into vacant properties and doing virtual showings. They're doing, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, because they're able to get in there. And having that conversation with your seller is really going to determine the route for you. So it will depend on whether in Maryland, if it's a vacant property, or sellers, and the seller's comfort level with people being in their home at this point. And then in Pennsylvania, virtual remote is really the only option until we kind of ease back in and some restrictions get lifted. So the way that we are recommending to do virtual showings is to use one of the video chat apps that we're going to talk about today, and make sure that everybody's compatible. So part of what we're going to break down and later in the presentation is, which apps work on which device, because you want to make sure that you're not jumping in and sending people FaceTime videos if they have a Google phone, because they're not going to be able to attend via FaceTime. So making sure that everybody's able to use the video app that you are setting it up with, send them the invite, have them all do a group video chat. So this could be done and set up by, the listing agent, have the seller on there, have the buyer's agent and their buyer on there, so that everybody's on the video chat app. And then talk to your seller ahead of time, set those expectations that they are the one kind of touring the property via video, while you are, letting the buyer's agent take the lead in the conversation with their buyer. So you as the listing agent are, quiet. The seller is really just being the hands that are touring the video this way through the property. And the buyer's agent is talking to their buyer throughout the meeting. And then if there are questions, you and the buyer's agent can connect on the questions, and you can always schedule a follow-up meeting with the agent. But that's a great way to, give them a live tour. That way, if the buyer goes, "Oh, can you take me back? I want to see the living room again," or "I'd really love to see the pantry and the kitchen," the seller is able to do that right on the meeting. You don't have to schedule a second session. So we definitely recommend getting everybody via video on the call and hosting it that way. And then Jen, anything you would add from what you're hearing?
The only thing that I would add is, don't be nervous about connecting your buyer and seller together right now. I know that as realtors, we're always like, don't let the buyer and seller talk in the transaction. And this is maybe like a whole new direction of getting people together and saying, here's what we do. But if you as the buyer's agent and you as the listing agent really do some good coaching with your clients, talk about what you should say and what you shouldn't say, and talk about, just being responsive to the buyer on the other end of the call, you really will have a pretty cool experience. And it may actually end up bringing some transactions together that wouldn't have come together, because the buyer and seller have a little bit of a feeling for each other. And we all know that buying a property is an emotional thing, and selling a property is an emotional thing. So to bring those people together could end up being a really unique experience for both of them. So don't fear that connection. I see we have a question. What about a vacant home? Would the seller go back to the vacant house to show it? And yes, that's really our option at this point, Leah. If there's a vacant house, the seller would need to go back and host that showing in their home. Or, I know sometimes we have people who've moved out of state, and we've had friends go over and host the video walkthrough as well. So, if they have someone who's caring for the house while they're out of town, they can certainly have someone else go and do it. The key is that unfortunately in Pennsylvania, we as agents can't go. In Maryland, they're still able to do that. So hopefully we'll be able to do that someday soon.
Yep. And I think that'll be kind of like that next level stepping stone of getting back into everything. So absolutely. Thanks, Jen. So virtual open houses, this is something that we actually just did a whole class on this last Friday for our agents. Not going to get into all of the details. I'm going to just kind of do an overview today since we really got into the nitty gritty last week. But some recommendations that we had come up with for virtual open houses. And I'm going to kind of do a comparison for you guys so you can start to think about what would work best for you and what might work best for your seller. And it might also depend on the seller and what those conversations look like. So one option would be Facebook, Instagram Live. One option would be doing it live via Zoom Pro and streaming that to Facebook, which is exactly what we're doing right now. We're doing a Zoom Pro session and we're live streaming it to Facebook. Or to do a pre-recorded video tour using a basic level Zoom account and broadcasting it to Facebook. So just to kind of break that down for you guys and do a comparison, and I know this is a lot of information, but I'm gonna do my best to explain it for you. So Facebook, Instagram Live, at this point, that's a great option for our Maryland agents because they are still able to get out into the property, and getting to the property gives them the ability to hop on a Facebook Live, Instagram Live, do a tour through the property, narrate that, do it in live time where somebody is able to answer questions. They can put it right in the comment like some of you might do during this session. And then you can monitor that comment box to answer the questions while you're live in the property and during the session. The agent would be the one hosting it. If it's not a vacant property and you have sellers there, have a conversation with their seller. What we would recommend doing ahead of time would be, talk about the staging, talk about the decluttering so you're not touching anything while you're in there. Have them wait in their car if they're comfortable with you being in their home. If not, hop into one of these other two options that we're going to get into next. But at this point, this is a great option for our Maryland agents. And then Jen and I have mentioned a couple things with, this will be the next step for Pennsylvania as restrictions get lifted. So this is kind of, that entry level. Once that restriction gets lifted and you are able to get back out into properties in Pennsylvania, this would be the next great way to host your virtual open house before we get into, gatherings of 10 or more people. So this would be the next level for us. So there's no cost involved. The way that we recommend doing it, so the accounts that you would need would be a Facebook business page if you're going to do it on Facebook. And then we do recommend creating a Facebook event, or you would need an Instagram account. So that would be one option. There's no seller interaction there. So, you as the agent is hosting it, conducting it, and you're doing all of it and you're managing that. So getting into the paid Zoom account, this would be the paid Zoom Pro level account. Zoom Pro is $14.99 a month per host. So there is a cost involved in that. It's a monthly cost. The agent would host it virtually. So you would actually go into your Zoom account, set up a Zoom meeting, invite your seller. Just kind of like the showing situation that we talked about, but just you and your seller on there with video, with audio. We've actually had somebody during the session last Friday go, I'm going to mute my seller when I do it to make sure that you are the one narrating, you're the one answering the questions, and the seller is just really the one doing the video tour. So your seller would be live with you doing the tour of the property, going through their home while you are narrating it. And then it's live. So in live time, you would be just like Jen and I are monitoring the Zoom chat box and answering questions, monitoring the Facebook Live comments and answering those in live time during the session. So it's a great opportunity for people to ask questions, ask you to go back and revisit another room, and it's nice and interactive. So again, you would need a Zoom Pro level account, a Facebook business page, and Facebook event. And to me, this one, this is really dependent upon your seller and their comfort level. If it's somebody who's comfortable with, doing that video tour in live time, do a couple practice runs, set some expectations on narrating, conversation, and handling questions. The other option that we have for you is a free Zoom basic level account. It's pre-recorded. So the difference here is that you're not actually doing the video tour and the narrating live. You're recording it ahead of time. So with a free Zoom account, you can set up that meeting with your seller, have them do the video tour while you are narrating it. and then you already have the recording. So what you would do is go into your Facebook business page, and you would actually schedule that as a premiere video. And it's not live, so people aren't watching it as you're doing it since it's pre-recorded, but it functions as a live broadcast. And this is where it's a really neat option for somebody who isn't comfortable doing it live. And it also gives you the ability to interact in real time. So there's no way to go back and answer the questions verbally since it's done, and there's no way to revisit a room. But you can hop on to that post while it's playing the live broadcast. And as people are commenting and asking questions, you can reply as they're watching the broadcast. You schedule it. So when you schedule the date and time, that broadcast will automatically start playing. You don't need to do anything else at that point. So it's a really great option versus the live one. I've had a ton of questions come in since the session on Friday. What if I already have the recording? Do I need to redo it? Do I need to do the Zoom session? No. If you've already got a really great video recording, again, use Videolicious, do the narration to it, do the verbal content, and then take that file and schedule it as the premiere video so it's a live broadcast and do it that way. So that's another great alternative to having to do a Zoom session if you already have the video recording. Jen, anything you've seen or want to add to that?
So a couple of things. One is don't forget that you can do this any day of the week too. It doesn't have to be a Sunday afternoon. So right now we're all working out of the box and kind of paying attention to when your friends and family might be online. This is a really good time for you to host a virtual open house any time of the day or night. So if your sphere of influence is all online at midnight, do a virtual open house at midnight if you want to. It doesn't have to be when we traditionally do them. So I think that's kind of a cool option. You could, host a Sunday brunch open house, or, a happy hour open house or something along those lines, and invite your social media people to come on and watch it at any time. So I do have a question. If maybe like someone's manager has a pro Zoom account, is that able to be used with someone else's Facebook page, or do I need my own pro Zoom account to work with my business Facebook page?
So it's whoever has access to the page. Like you could use anybody's Zoom account as long as they give you access to it. When you're going into your browser and logging in with Zoom, it needs to be your browser logging into Facebook. So I could actually use Jen's Zoom account to set up the session, but I need to be able to access the Facebook page if I'm the one conducting it. So it's your Facebook business page. You're the one going live, but it doesn't matter whose Zoom account you use.
Okay, great. And then Karen Evans asked if Friday's session is still available. And Karen, I believe Jen sent that out in an email last Friday, right after the session, to the whole company. And then she also, it's probably saved on Home Sales Center as well. So it should be in both places.
Yep, absolutely. Let us know if you can't find it, and we'll make sure to get you a copy of it. So great comments. The other thing I wanted to add in with, Jen's recommendation on, thinking outside the box and doing this whatever daytime works best for your audience is it's also a great opportunity to figure out what works best for your seller, because, your seller might have a circus of kids who are not typically home. So it might be a great time for them to figure out, doing the open house instead of just Sunday 1 to 3, when's it best for the seller and what's going to be their biggest comfort level. It might be because of kids or dogs or their schedule. So just, talk to your seller, set those expectations, find out what works best for them, and find out what works best for your audience. So I thought that was a great comment, Jen. So just to kind of put together those pieces, I gave you 3 different recommendations on how to do it. And then once you determine that, this is kind of going to be your process for doing the open house, getting it in front of people, getting people to attend it. And we can make the slide deck available. I did see a chat question come in earlier. So don't worry about writing all this down. Don't worry about taking notes. We will get everybody who attended a copy of the slides today. And it's also recorded, so we can get you a copy of that as well. So determine when you're going to do the open house session. Set expectations with your seller, talk about decluttering, staging, do a practice tour, do a practice run through. I love that Jen shared earlier that somebody actually did one of their home for a showing. You could do the same thing with this for the open house tour. Set up whether you're doing either the live Zoom Pro meeting, schedule that, get the recording session scheduled. So, or if you're going to do the basic level and pre-record it, get that done. So set up the Zoom session, get your seller logged on, schedule it, record it, and then go to Facebook and actually schedule the premiere video so it's set up and it's ready to do the live broadcast at the date time of your open house session, or plan out when you're going to do your Instagram, Facebook Live. So step 3, it kind of depends on which option you've selected from our previous slide. Determine which link to market. So which link are you going to push people to so that you have a captive audience? If you are doing either the Facebook Live session or you're going to do the Zoom Pro upgraded account and live stream it like we are today, then what we do is we recommend going to your Facebook business page and creating a Facebook event. That will help you tremendously with marketing it, because on a Facebook event, you can very easily invite prospective buyers, invite people who would be interested in that property. And it's a very easy way to just kind of blast out and market the fact that you're doing a virtual open house. If you're doing that, you need the link to your Facebook event. If you are doing an Instagram Live, you are going to use your Instagram link. And I've gotten quite a few questions on how do I know what that is? So if you go to your Instagram account and go to your profile, it is your Instagram handle or your account name, whatever you would refer to. You put that into a link. So you're going to do your http://instagram.com/ whatever your Instagram handle, your account name is. That would be the format for your Instagram link. The third option is if you were doing the pre-recorded basic Zoom session, you are going to link to your business page. The reason we do not recommend doing a Facebook event for that is you cannot do a premiere video on a Facebook event. You can only do it on a Facebook business page. So that's kind of the difference depending on whether you're doing it live or live streaming it using an event versus the recorded premiere video needs to be just linking to your Facebook business page. Once you've captured that link, you're going to go into the MLS, go to, add, edit your listing, open houses. You would schedule the date, time of your open house. And then Bright had added in a method where you're selecting the method of how the open house is going to be hosted. You're going to do the virtual online only option. And then they do have a new field where you can add in the link. So that's where you're going to paste the link. For all of our home sale agents who have tuned in today, our agent services department is still doing the targeted Facebook and Instagram ads for every single one of our open houses. If you are doing this virtual open house, you're going to email agentservices@homesale.com with the link, and they will make sure that they run that targeted ad for you. And then once you've got all your marketing set up, you've either pre-recorded it and scheduled the broadcast, or you are set up and ready to go live. You're going to go live, start your session, live stream it to Facebook, or go to the premiere video broadcast that's already scheduled. Have that in front of you, open on your laptop, so that when people are commenting, you are able to reply and answer questions in live time. So that kind of is the process and the run through of how we recommend you guys host those.
So I just wanted to add, as you were kind of talking, I was thinking to myself, it's very important right now that our sellers feel like we're connecting and doing whatever we can to market their property. And just having this conversation with them that, hey, this is a whole new way for me to market your home, and I'm going to learn this process right along with you, is going to demonstrate to them how important it is for you to find new ways to get their property promoted during this time. So the more that you can kind of really partner with them in the process and engage them and talk about all the things that you need their help with in order to get this to work, have them invite their friends to the virtual open house and have them share it with their sphere of influence on social media so that they can get more people into the open house. It's going to be great exposure for you, and it's going to really demonstrate to your sellers how much you care and how much you want to help them get their house sold right now. So Great tool.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And have their neighbors do it too, you know, have that conversation of, hey, this could be your next neighbor, whoever attends this session and watches it. So have them invite their friends too.
My favorite thing to say is nobody cares more about who's moving into your neighborhood than your neighbors. So make sure that they know.
Yep. Let them invite the people that they would want to live next to. So, but kind of switching gears into buyer consultations, and you know, Jen can maybe elaborate a little bit more on what Taj did. But this was where, you know, Jen had commented about Taj really loving that he was able to use Zoom to get his loan officer, his lender, and his buyer, you know, face to face, interacting in live time, and to talk through some of that pre-approval. Same goes for buyer consultations. It's a really great opportunity to do that face to face via video. You could use Zoom. You could take advantage of that screen share feature to display, you know, your buyer presentation, review paperwork, set expectations, go over pre-approval, get your loan officer, lender to hop on the call. You could either schedule a separate call or tell them, hey, I'm going to start at 9. Why don't you log on at 10? Here's the link. And you can kind of, you know, do all of it at once. But it's creating some really awesome opportunities to get people together where, you know, drive time may have previously affected that. So I love that it's creating that for us. Setting expectations, you know, asking your buyer a little bit more detailed questions than we may be used to, asking if they've been furloughed or laid off since the pre-approval was provided is information you definitely want to know. Asking if they're pre-approved for a government-backed loan program. Make sure you're verifying with their loan officer that their pre-approval has not been affected by it. So definitely not the time to just kind of make assumptions, because, you know, a lot of people are being affected in different ways right now. And setting clear expectations. So, you know, talking to them, just like we talked about with sellers, setting expectations on how virtual showings are going to be conducted, talking to them about, you know, sight unseen language and sharing the sight unseen acknowledgement with them, reviewing that with them, talking about their options for the pre-settlement walkthrough and making sure you go over what those options are and helping them make the decision that's best for them, and explaining how settlements are being conducted as well. So great way to still get that FaceTime like you would typically do if you were having them meet you in the office, but to do it remotely and to do it via Zoom video instead of meeting in person at this point. So settlement, the biggest thing with this is checking in with your settlement company, checking in with the title company, find out what their current procedures are now so you can set expectations ahead of time, and then do it again right before settlement, because things are changing. So we need to keep adapting and keep resetting expectations as we go. Schedule a video meeting with your clients. So again, you could use Zoom to do this, but make sure that you're reviewing settlement paperwork ahead of time and electronically, so that when they get to settlement, they're ready to go. Because, you know, we want to limit any interaction. I know in Pennsylvania right now, for our offices, home sale settlement is doing drive-up settlements and taking a ton of precautions and being as compliant as, you know, they need to be. And in Maryland, we're doing those in the office, and our Maryland settlement officers are doing the same thing and following all of those CDC guidelines. But do as much as you can ahead of time. So, you know, get the questions out of the way, get the paperwork review out of the way, so they are showing up, signing, and getting in and out of there as safely as possible. So as the agent, know you're not able to attend settlement in person like you're used to, but find other ways to, you know, be in front of them, to be congratulating them, to make it that happy, memorable time. Yes, it's a little bit of a different experience, but they're still excited because they were still able to achieve their real estate goal. So send them a video message or schedule a little video chat with them to congratulate them. Mail a closing gift. You know, continue to go out of your way to make them feel special and to congratulate them on their achievement. Jen, anything that you would want to add that you've been seeing our agents doing out there?
I think the coolest things I've been seeing, I've seen a Facebook Live video of somebody's client settling. You know, they didn't take the video, but they did a video like, hey, I can't be there with you, but I'm thinking about you and I'm so excited, which I thought was very cool. I also like have your buyer snap a little picture of them sitting in the car going through the settlement process and then share that would be another option. You know, I love the gift idea. You know, everybody is looking for opportunities again to support our small local businesses. A lot of them are doing baskets and handmade items, and you could certainly have something like that set up and ready to roll to show up on their new doorstep as soon as they start moving in. So there's a lot of cool options out there that are available, and don't think just because you can't be there in person that you can't help them celebrate. So send them a bottle of champagne from the liquor store. There's mailing now. It's all good.
Yep, awesome. I think now, is even more important than ever to make sure you're there and you're reaching out and doing all of those things. Okay, so we talked a lot about, activities and steps throughout the transaction that you can do virtually. Now we're going to dive into the apps, platforms, and tools that you can use to accomplish all of those things. So we've talked a lot about Videolicious. Videolicious is an app that all of our Berkshire Hathaway home services agents are provided with at no cost. So everybody here at Home Sale is able to take advantage of that. The benefit with that partnership through Berkshire Hathaway National is that it has the company branding on there. So it looks nice and professional. It starts out with our Cabernet screen, our logo flying in, and it's a really great way, like we've kind of talked about a couple different times, to take photos from your seller, video clips that your seller has done and sent to you. And you can insert those photos, you can insert those video clips and do a voiceover. So a lot of our agents use these and, do a little intro. So it's kind of a selfie video. They introduce themselves, the company, the property, and then they start using the screen share function of inserting the photos of the property or the video clips. And that's where they can either do a voiceover and narrate, or like Melissa had chimed in, if you're not going to do that, put some music in the background. There's a lot of different music options built right into the app. And then once it's done, that Berkshire Hathaway partnership also makes it really easy to distribute it and get it sent out there. So you get a link, which that link is what you would put in Bright. It's what you would send to agent services. It's what you would use to, schedule that premiere video. You would upload the video file, but they also put it into the marketing resource for us. So that gives us the ability to very easily put it into an e-card, blast it out to your contacts, your sphere of influence, any people that might be interested in that property. You can very easily share it to social media. So a lot of our agents have also been doing Videolicious videos to talk about the market, to use for prospecting. There's a million different ways you can use this app. And since it stores it online, you can text a link and you don't have to worry about a video file being too large to send because it's already hosted online for you. So it kind of takes away having to create a YouTube channel, upload it just to very quickly send somebody the video and give them the ability to access that. So Facebook or Instagram Live, we've got some screenshots here for you. I'm just going to move my little picture out of the way. So the benefit here is it grabs the attention of people that follow you. They can connect instantly. They can engage. I love that, while you're hosting it, they can ask questions in live time and you can interact with them. You could ask them a question. They could comment with the answer. They can ask you a question. You can respond to that as you're doing the live session. So you can start the broadcast. The way you would do that on your phone is by going to your Facebook app, your business page, the Facebook event, however you're doing that, where you would post. You just need to scroll down and click go live. It does give you a preview. So you have the opportunity to, check what's behind you, fix your hair, and then click go live and jump in and get started. If you're doing that on Instagram, you would click to go to your story. And then you have some options along the bottom here. You would swipe through to get to live, and then you would hit the button to go live, and it kind of functions the same way as Facebook. So that's a great way to market your listings, provide real estate updates, conduct those virtual open houses for our Maryland agents right now, like we were talking about. And another benefit with that is people get notified. So when you're doing it live, people get the notification. If there's somebody that interacts with you frequently on social media or they follow your accounts, they get notified and they can very quickly tune in. I always also recommend setting the expectation. So a couple of days before, let people know, post something and tell them, hey, I'm going to go live, Thursday at 2:00, and this is what we're going to talk about. I hope you join me. So set that expectation and let them know ahead of time. Jen, anything you want to add? I saw you unmuted there.
I did. I was excited. So remember that one of our tips for this week for our agents as like a get up and go thing is, hey, host a Facebook Live and share some type of, personal thing about one of your talents. We see one of our Schuylkill Haven agents, Melanie, she's always doing cooking shows, which are awesome. And we're seeing people play the piano, and we're seeing people sing, and we're seeing all kinds of different things going Facebook Live, and it's a great way to interact with the people on your social media without necessarily talking about real estate and thinking that they're going, oh, there's Jen again talking about real estate. So it's a good opportunity to just kind of showcase your personal side as well. We've also seen agents do very good interviews on Facebook Live with lenders and talking about the market, and doing that type of interaction is another good reason to be using Facebook Live. So, think about, get on here and ask me all your questions if you're thinking about buying a home, or get on here and ask me all your questions if you're thinking about selling a home. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use it to get people to kind of interact with you on Facebook. So don't forget all of those different options. You don't just have to show a house.
Yep. Awesome. I've seen a lot of those. The other thing I love about that, so like with Jen's example of, get on here and let's talk about it. Ask your questions of, what it looks like to buy a house right now. I'll answer them. Or, it could even be something personal that you're talking about with sharing those talents. But what I also love about this is the recording sticks around. So, you do the live session, it stays on your page and people watch the playback, and typically more people actually watch the playback than what tuned in live. So, another recommendation is when you hit that go live button, get right into your content instead of kind of waiting for people to tune on. Nobody's going to sit and watch you wait for people to log on when they're watching that replay. So just kind of dive right into it. Facebook Premiere Video. This is one way that we talked about doing a virtual open house because of, depending on comfort level of seller and depending on the level of Zoom account that you have, it's also a great way to pre-record your video and schedule it as a live broadcast, because you still get that live time interaction, not actually through the content that you're putting out there through the video since it's pre-recorded, but you are able to monitor the comments in live time. So people are watching your broadcast that auto started for you. You didn't have to log in and set it all up. So it kind of frees you up so that you can monitor the comments, you can reply, you can encourage interaction, you can share it, you can answer questions. So it kind of gives you the ability to engage in a whole different way, and it notifies people. So when you schedule that live broadcast, it will actually post on your page and it'll say, tune in on this date, this time, whatever you title your video recording, and it has a reminder button, which I loved. Somebody could click that reminder button, subscribe to it, and then 20 minutes before the start time, they get a Facebook notification that you're about to start your live broadcast to keep them engaged, to remind them. 3 minutes before, they also get a notification and they're able to join kind of like a Premiere lobby where they can start liking and commenting and sharing that post before the session starts and goes live. And then it will automatically start airing for you. We definitely, again, recommend that you yourself are at your computer or your phone watching it so that you are interacting as well. The way that you set this up is you would go to your Facebook business page. Again, cannot be done through a Facebook event. You would click create post, add photo video, and then you would locate that video file on your computer or on your phone, and then you would schedule it as a Premiere video. This is just kind of a little screenshot to give you an idea of what it looks like, and it's under publishing options there. This is, a great way to do the virtual open houses like we had mentioned. You could also share real estate advice. You could do tips. To me, you could do anything that we just talked about live, but it's not live. So it just kind of depends on your comfort level and the comfort level of anybody involved in the session with you. But it's another really great option that we've seen people taking advantage of. But, same kind of idea, just not the live session. It's pre-recorded and it's broadcasting for you. So video chat apps, this is kind of, I dove into this a little bit in the comment of, making sure that everybody attending the session or in the group chat is able to use the one that you are setting it up with. So a couple that we put on here as recommendations: Google Duo, Facebook Messenger app, and FaceTime. And we've given you a couple of options because some depend on your device. So Google Duo is an app that you can download, install. There's no cost of it. It works on any tablet or phone. It doesn't just have to be a Google phone or a Google tablet. It works on any device. You just search for it in your app store. Once you've downloaded it, you can invite your contacts to join, and it will actually text them a link. They click the link. They can very easily download it on their phone. My 67-year-old mom figured it out, so it's very user-friendly, easy to use. They click the link, download it, and then it gives you the ability to either do one-on-one video calls, just like you would pick up the phone and call, but you just hit the video button, or you can do group chats. So you can have several people do a group chat. So this would be good for, that virtual showing. If you need more people on the chat, it would be a great way to just do any kind of FaceTime interaction with your clients or anybody involved in the sessions that we've talked about. Facebook Messenger video call, just another route for you to take, another option. There's tons of options out there. I picked a couple. I definitely didn't get into all of them. This you can do on a computer, tablet, or your phone. You just have to have a Facebook account to be using the Messenger app. It is a separate app. You don't do it through your Facebook app. You go to the App Store and you actually download the Messenger app, and it's this little blue icon up here. But same thing as Google Duo, you are able to access any of your Facebook friends and do a video call with one or a group of them. And this is just kind of a little screenshot of what it looks like. You open it up on your phone. You can either select somebody that you've been recently chatting with, and the chat kind of works like text messaging but runs through Facebook, or you can click the plus sign, add one or multiple people, and then do a video call that way. FaceTime, the one difference with FaceTime is it does only work for iOS devices. So it's an iPhone tool. You would download it via your app store. I do believe a lot of devices come with it already loaded on there, but what you do need to double check is your settings. You want to go into your settings and make sure that you turn Facebook or FaceTime on. Just make sure, even if it's on there, you see the app before you go to schedule it and do the call. Check your settings on either your iPad or your iPhone, and then you're going to go into the FaceTime app, tap the little plus sign in the top right corner, and either enter the name of the contact in your phone or multiple people and select video. So same thing, it can be a one-on-one or it can be a group of people that you're interacting with on this. But just wanted to give you guys a couple different options, since it really depends on the device and the device of everybody involved and what platforms they're using. The other thing that we've talked a lot about today is Zoom. So there are a couple of different options for Zoom accounts. The two that we're going to touch on are the basic free Zoom account. So anybody can go to zoom.us to create a free basic level Zoom account. You just need an email address to do that. That free basic account gives you the ability to host an unlimited amount of one-on-one meetings, and there's no limit on the length of the meeting. So, I could do a Zoom meeting with Jen and we could do it for 3 hours. There's no time limit there. If you have 3+ people involved, Jen says not 3 hours though. She's shutting me down. If there are more than 3 total people, so you and let's say 2 sellers, you have a 40-minute time limit on that. So you have the ability to do it for 40 minutes for your meeting, or you would want to upgrade to the Zoom Pro level. So the upgraded Zoom Pro that we talked about is $14.99 a month. That does give you the ability to host for up to 100 attendees on there, and you don't have the issue of the time limit, so you're not hitting that 40-minute limitation. The other functionality that we're taking advantage of right now and leveraging is it also gives you the ability to do a meeting and live stream that to Facebook. So that was option 2 when we talked about the virtual open houses, of doing that Zoom Pro account and live streaming that open house right to your Facebook event. So it also has that additional functionality. You can, and it just depends on the device, you can do it on your laptop by just creating the Zoom account and logging into it, or you can download the app on your phone or tablet and use the Zoom app that way as well. So it just kind of depends on, the features and functionality you need to determine what level of Zoom account you need to look into purchasing or taking advantage of the free account. So at Home Sale, we also have Admaster. Admaster is a program that automatically creates virtual tours for our home sale agents. So once they get the photos from the seller, so right now your seller is sending those to you, you get those uploaded into Bright. Bright will automatically send those photos to our Admaster program. Admaster takes those photos, creates a virtual tour, puts background music to it so that it keeps us focused and entertained. And then it provides a branded and an unbranded tour so that you could put those into the appropriate section in Bright MLS. So it's automatically doing that, a great tool that you can leverage. You can also upload it, share it to social media, put it on your YouTube channel, and use it as another great way to market your property and market your listing. So we talked a lot today, and some of those things might push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. So I kind of wanted to take some time, we'll get through questions, but what I wanted to kind of leave you with was a quote, and a quote that resonated me as I was building this class, knowing that not everybody loves video. I've talked to a lot of our agents that every time I'm like, oh, you could do a video, you could do Facebook Live, they're like, Jen, I don't like doing video, I don't like how I sound, I don't like how I look. I am always encouraging our agents to get out of your comfort zone, try it, because effort wins every time. So, it's more meaningful to your clients, to your sphere of influence, to everybody you're interacting with, that you made the extra effort. You stood out among the crowd, you took the extra step, you made the extra effort. And this Helen Keller quote kind of spoke to that for me as well. A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. So it kind of really resonated because of the circumstances right now. And, we can kind of sit in the corner and be negative and watch over the news and obsess with what's going on, or we can jump in, we can adapt, we can get out of our comfort zone. We can be the one that stands out, and we can be the resource for their clients and the go-to person for our sphere of influence when those floodgates open back up. So Jen, any questions that we've missed? Anything you want to share or add on to today?
I think we've hit all the questions, and I think we've covered a lot of good stuff. And I think at this point, it's just a matter of everyone taking advantage of it and kind of getting out there ahead of the other competition who's not necessarily going to step up and do what it takes to be successful in this market. So, here's some opportunities for you to do something different and set yourself apart. So get out there and do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate your help today and you co-hosting with me. And thank you for everybody who joined us. I will be making sure to post the recording of this session as well as the slide deck so you have it available. So thanks for joining us, and I hope you guys have a great day.